International diplomatic consultant Yera Farouk Al-Wahab Esha Wahad Muse Obaya Fishapa
Salam
Bibia Boko there
Inshallah
Edobadi ase But you didn't say Bibia Boko
na me tumi bia okay
Edobadi ase But me will start from this very angle nafi yen zoom into it much more better just about last week exactly a week ago and His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was sworn in as the President of the Republic of Ghana. But I stand to be corrected, but for the first time in the history of our republic, 21 heads of states and a buyer, and about, I think, almost 24 envoys also came, and other foreign diplomats a buyer. What does this say to John Dramani Mahama buying and going forward, what it means to us as Ghanaians?
Okay, Mami Chao ni etiefo. Okay, Ghana at 50, we received more head of states and presidents.
Okay.
Because it was Ghana, your biggest ceremony and a historic democratic history, and then as a country being the first country originating African Union, etc. Until 50th year anniversary, we had quite a number.
Okay.
But inauguration ceremony of an incoming president elected, I think this is the most biggest.
This is the most biggest?
Yes, of course, undoubtedly. Internal, you are right.
All right.
Now, you are asking, sir, why and how?
Yes.
Okay, so that is how it works. On the African continent, Ghana is a part of international community, and for that matter, African continent. And a very important member of the African Union.
Yes.
And it's a country of Africa. Now, yebeswe in president. The news goes on. First and foremost, African Union are aware. So African Union, in most cases, more platforms are put you through the African Union platforms. That's diplomatic platform of the African Union.
Okay.
Informing the African Union of Ghana's inauguration ceremony. And the African Union ankasa ever represented with some precedents.
Okay.
But then, of course, some of them take excuses.
Yes.
No amani prime minister, amani foreign minister, no amani aba. And on the African continent, now you have 4 blocks. But there were 6 regions of the African Union.
Okay.
There were the North Africans, and there were the East African community, East African states.
Okay.
And there were the ECOWAS.
Okay.
And there were the SADC, that is the Southern African states.
Oh, okay.
And there were the Central African republics.
Yes.
And Sana, there were the seed region of the Africa, and here the African Union Diaspora Forum, which is seen as also a region.
I see.
On the African continent.
I see.
Now, African Union meaning the number of countries are so the African Union might have come with about 6 or 7 or 8 delegations, and willingly per the country, willingly per the president in our urban country, the love, the friendship or what might be a Ghana. All the friendship or need the incoming president in the war. So in this case, President Mahama had been a president of the Republic of Ghana before.
Yes.
He has been 6 years president, more or less, and then now coming back, our friends, our government, and our friends, our share, your former presidents, baby.
Yes. Olusegun Obasanjo baby. Good luck, Jonathan.
Exactly. Olusegun, Eddie Jonathan. A best friend of.
And I think Jacob Zuma also about.
Yes. So that is the case. In the African Union, they don't call for buy. Central Africa don't call for buy. And then ECOWAS also represented as ECOWAS bloc. Or represented as ECOWAS bloc, some countries maybe will be chosen by the ECOWAS community. So some countries we more represented, now more attended Ghana swearing in ceremony.
Okay.
Besides that, your presidents be a ha. The friend of President Mahama. So they decided to come. If even they were not part.
I see.
And the invitation, those ones that comes from the bloc, and those ones that come from the personal invitation of His Excellency President Mahama.
I see.
SADC South Africa, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Mozambique, Angola, and then Zambia, Lesotho, and then also Swatini, and those countries. Omunina SADC community in so MF SADC represent here. But then the president that came, some came as a result and as at the instance of SADC.
Okay.
But some of them also came at the instance of the president-elect himself.
I see.
Central Africa, the same thing.
I see.
Now, the interesting scenario, presidents in a Bayern, some of them did not come because Ghana as a country also would invite.
Yes.
But then when Ghana invites her, up to the receiving countries, so Ombaba and now Onoma. Into blocks, you know, Ayom introduction, the African Union Ayom introduction. No? The country Ghana would also send invitation.
Okay.
Na ebi baba ebi ma. But generally what I saw and what I've known and what I noticed was that good number of the guys, presidents, they were presidents, they were friends of the president.
The president. I see.
Elect.
I see.
And some of the invitations, you know, were invitations originated, listen to me once again, by the president-elect and his team. Not the country Republic of Ghana, in the case of Goodluck.
Oh, I see.
Goodluck, a former president. There's a sitting Nigerian president.
Yes.
So he couldn't have been.
Yeah,
but he's a statesman.
Yes.
Olusegun Obasanjo, he would have maybe on an African states, maybe an African Union, and then buy. But on his own, so by at the instance of the invitation from the president-elect.
But isn't it also surprising to see a coup d'etat president and as a military officer in the case of Burkina Faso, so ultimately attend a fashion like this?
What is wrong with that?
Well, I mean, so why are you cool? He's not an elected president.
Why are you cool? Okay, stand there. You want to go to school?
Yes, I mean, why not?
He's a head of state.
Yes.
Head of state, former, informer. Either coup or elected. He represents a certain country called Burkina Faso.
Yes, sure.
As a head of state.
Yes. Yes.
So, why was he invited? Ono, Pediasi Declaration 1, Declaration 2, Declaration 3. His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and the Ghana and the ECOWAS. Declarations of Pediasi 1 and 2 and are turning the table of Burkina Faso. Say Omunka African Union, ECOWAS Hubium.
I see.
Oma suspend you. Right?
Yes.
The declaration 1 not suspended Dumboya.
Yes.
Of Guinea.
Yes.
And the declaration 2 suspended Assimi Goïta of Mali. And the 3 suspended Damiba.
Okay.
Paul Henry Santiago Damiba, Burkina Faso.
Yes.
On the name Captain Traoré.
Yeah.
But then Captain Traoré ni Damibano, you can't call it that a coup d'etat. It was a change of regime.
Okay.
A palace coup.
Okay.
The boss no. And on any coup. And the coup the two Kabori. The two Kabori no.
And on those who be two.
The two Kabori no. The junta's mission was that ye caught near mercenaries. Ye caught near you for Akokun, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, and Sawad and Sadin. All the rebels and the terrorist group are all pretty Burkina. But omnya power new year two Kabori ma Kabori Johnny Yeno. And Paul Henry Santiago Damiba. The ideals and philosophy ideologies are the year kuno. Na undi so. So he was turning back to the French.
Oh, I see.
To behave the same way like Kabori was doing. So the boy also had a formation. Ibiasida, SMC1, SMC2, which is Kutu a champion, and then FWK a Kufu.
Yeah.
Do you understand me?
Yes.
It was something like that. Now, what I say, I didn't coup d'etat. Your friend is a coup d'etat leader, and I said,
yes.
Why military regime. Let me put it on records, and I've heard one of the reasons God may firm and the normal circumstances.
Yeah, sure.
Once throughout the electioneering year,
Yeah.
I don't grant interviews. I try to stay neutral in some cases. But I think, say, too much pollution in the air. So we must set it straight.
The record
we must set a lot of record straight in this particular studio.
Yes.
Weapon.
Yes.
Ahanam can the same seat. That is why I decided to come here and set this record straight. And that is how it is.
Okay.
The United Nations of the congregation of 178 countries is the International Democratic Forum, congregation of all democratic governments and the governments of the world, with Secretary General of the UN, Awatiho. How many of the African leaders in the 80s, in the 90s, we had as many as almost 24 African leaders who were all wearing military uniforms into the UN General Assembly chamber.
Wow.
Jerry Rawlings, back to back, 19-year rule, or UN General Assembly with uniform 11 years. Sani Abacha, or UN General Assembly with military uniform. Obasanjo, or UN General Assembly all throughout his government until say Buhari ni Idiagbon too. They were also going to the UN General Assembly. Majority as
yeah, sure.
Now, Nigeria, Abacha, Olusegun Obasanjo, Buhari, Omunyina no mko UN General Assembly. What about Habre? What about Lassana Conte? What about Lamizana? Majority as
yes.
Chad, Niger, Burkina Faso had a military leader who was Blaise Compaoré. Or UN General Assembly for how many times? At that time, Sierra Leone, Valentine Srasa, 25 years, with Sadj Musa, 23 years. They were going to UN General Assembly with military uniform.
Oh.
John Jerry Rawlings went with military uniform.
Yeah.
Sierra Leone had a military leader. Guinea had a military leader. Guinea-Bissau, they had military leader. Omar Bashir, Central African Republic, Bongi. All this at that time, Obiako UN General Assembly, plus what about the Latin Americans? What about the Caribbeans? Cuba, Fidel Castro, almost or UN General Assembly without, with any suit, or with military uniform. The observer to the UN General Assembly, Yasser Arafat, or the uniform, and called uniform, the visitor Clinton, White House.
Oh.
Back to back military uniform.
I see.
There is nowhere all those professors and then lecturers, security experts in Omkase were a democratic president and didn't know ma kwame the military no country we in our governance system. How many military leaders have ruled this country longer than democratic?
Yes, absolutely.
Yet Ghana every time is one of the countries in Africa that spoke on the UN podium with a military uniform. So it is not a crime, it is not bad that the gentleman came here with his uniform. Ogel of Gabon,
yes, Gabon,
he decided to wear. Ogel did not come because he was from Central Africa. Ogel came because he's a friend, coach me, of President Mahama.
Oh.
So at the instance of the president, he came.
I see.
Don't forget, I have coordinated with Osei J of Ministry of Foreign Affairs, former foreign minister, when His Excellency Nando Dankwa was sworn in 7th January. The same way, I stood in as the liaison officer coordinating for the Republic of Ghana.
Oh, okay.
And then Osei J stood in for Ghana. We received him, the president. There are a lot of things we don't have time. So now let's come back to why Traoré's issue had become an issue.
Yes.
Ebi said, Ukra gun.
Yes, on the two What
are we talking about here? We're talking about people are reading regular security intelligence. About cyber security near here. We are talking about diplomatic security. Diplomacy has its own intelligence. Diplomacy has its own security. And I'm putting on record. Diplomacy is not about anybody's social illustrations.
Okay.
It's not about anybody's intelligence. It's not about anybody's assumption. It's not about anybody's presumptions. And it's not about anybody's feelings. Diplomacy is a principle. Diplomacy is a standard. Diplomacy deals with objectivity.
Okay.
Diplomacy deals with subjectivity.
Oh, it deals with objectivity and subjectivity.
So you must be subjective, a topical subject. And you must be an objective, that this is it. Okay. This object.
I see.
Yes. and it goes not with anybody's feelings. So what we saw, and it said, 6 January 2025, 11:59 p.m. Ghana air swear in new parliament.
Yeah.
His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the regime comes to an end soon as the parliament of his republic, of his government is dissolved.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, sure.
So 59 p.m., who mounts into the podium? The Ghana presidency goes back to the Chief Justice. Because parliament is dissolved.
No speaker.
No speaker.
Yes.
So within an hour, President of the Republic of Ghana, interim, at that time, Chief Justice. Chief Justice moved to be a president of Ghana until 1 hour or 1.5 hours. In between that time, no, office clerk, the clerk of the parliament, induction, roll call, and mentioning of the incoming members of parliament, swearing in those who are going to swear in on the 9th. Chief Justice, you know, never swear parliamentarians in the speaker.
Yeah, sure.
So between that time, no, Ghana president, Chief Justice,
okay,
or swear in Speaker of Parliament, around 12:1 thereabout. I stand to be corrected on the time, but around 1:30. Ghana president goes back to Abang Bagbin.
Yes, yes.
So Abang Bagbin at that time becomes the Ghana president. From that time until 12:30 p.m. or 11:30 p.m. or 11 p.m. Sorry, a.m. Kopim say your best way new president.
Okay.
So this is the catch. Burkina Faso the guy, 36-year-old boy, he's super intelligent. Who are the people sitting there? Tinubu was there.
Yeah, Tinubu was there, yeah.
ECOWAS has declared him not a member. They later wanted to warm themselves to him diplomatically. Wama Antiase, Oma Formu Sahel, into Adane Hoso. If the guy had come to Ghana around 11:52 p.m. on the seat, Nana Addo can cage him in. I'm not saying that he was going to do that. But his security, they can withdraw and expose him to his enemies.
Oh, I see.
So he's not stupid.
I see.
He was not a friend of Ghana. He's a neighbor of Ghana.
Yeah.
But because ECOWAS declaration to reject him and move his country out of ECOWAS was originated from Accra. So he sees Ghana.
I don't meet his Omeyan Wahab Muslim.
Peduasi 1, 2, 3.
Oh, I see.
And the guy is not stupid.
Interesting.
And to make it sure, sir, the presidency was not in the hands of His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. I'm not saying, sir, Nana Beyeni Bibi, but we're talking about a trust, faith, and salvation.
Interesting.
Interesting. So I'm inside. What time did he come? Go and check.
Yeah, I remember because as at 7th in the morning, Namibisa omo protocols they said say afena Burkina Faso president Eba.
So let me take you and the public through. In the time na Obamuno, Gabon leader and Obabe died.
Yeah.
He didn't have any problem.
Yeah, sure.
But when no time now Obamuno, one, there's what is called diplomatic protocol of a visiting head of state or visiting president. I want a security person or my bone or one person.
Yeah, security person.
So from someone when I'm interview or my bone person say, so who invite president head of state? No ababia, your friend be diplomatic protocols.
Okay.
Security protocols. Entry protocols.
Okay.
And he said, the who host you no. And no obano or the checklist.
Okay.
The diplomatic checklist of the visit, and he said, may the head of state, head of the delegation, head of state, in this case, Captain Traoré, may the 19 soldiers armed, weapon carrying, a trainer the AK-47 4, yeah, the Brent 5, yeah, the Kafrenikov 8, pistols, assault rifles, etc. 9.
I see.
And Nipa 13 and the Beshe military uniform, Ekura guns.
In the bag or exposed?
Exposed.
Oh, I see.
Send the protocols or the abanono.
Yes.
Then the team, the government or the president-elect that is hosting him, also saw your validation.
Okay.
Now, no national security. And for that matter, a military you deal with the Air Force. You deal with near a flight ban or deba. Or some of the commercial jet, but in the case of the Burkina Faso, cleverly or the military jet nearby. So the military jet nearby on Timin packet our commercial side.
Okay.
And so the flight in BC Air Force.
Oh,
now Air Force was kind of flight, No, I shall say, once he's out of the aircraft, Obeja 10 or 15 military men manning or guiding the aircraft.
Oh.
No, ma drop one more flight, Pilots, and then the co-pilot, and then the air hostess, Omusia, cabin crew Fonisia, straight away to hotel. Omokoju Mahomet. Then the military take over with the Ghana military. No more did that flight. And Burkina Faso all by the Shai Krano. Need to done in chain. Or share flights in no copy send the president. Now, or your military leader and in the protocols, Ghana Army or Air Force have to make sure his security. President Mahama, His Excellency, have been a president. When your protocols or the Baba Breast on your TV say he has shared with them. And he knows.
Yeah.
So the transitioning team might not know, but the president knows. Now, if you know or say, I'll go through principal streets of Accra Airport direct route. You don't just get up and say, "So then
sure.
So your advanced protocol motorcade, obedi car scanning up to the Independence Square, and make sure say Trotrobian says you cancel. Burkina Faso leader is spending 12 minutes from the Air Force. Opiano, ebi awanko VVIP lounge.
I don't know your Ghana security.
Ghana security on
the security. Okay.
On no
oh, okay.
Into our car, Uncle Baby, straight away Oba Independence Square.
Oh.
Now that is how he's going to enter. Oba, and as he did, Oba V-shaped security. Oh, na ushebe tu who they watch it. V-shaped security.
Oh, me Fabajo.
Our soldiers bear 5, 6, 7 or ha.
Yes.
Or bear 6, 7 or ha.
Yes.
Obia with weapon.
Yes.
What I said.
Yes.
Then he blocked the V at the back. No, abedi infantry, so he's the arrow man. And he had decided not to drop the car. Baby, our president,
yeah, that's true.
Yes,
that's true.
Did he do
that's
that?
True. Yeah,
yes, it's part of his protocol.
Yes.
Into Oba walk 100 meters or 150 meters, so they can have clarity.
Interesting.
Why? Because our enemies.
Yeah.
ECOWAS enemy, Tinubu your enemy. Why? Because Tinubu French, pro-French.
Interesting.
His Excellency Nanado, pro-French, but only they know any picture anymore. It does not mean say we are afraid. Say obi betima becheno. Say the enya security officials in Biaka say expert von be say Argentina ukretu Argentina eden. One, and the public should notice. It could have been said on a Republic of Ghana government, not Ghana government, President Mahama. I agree. And they have scanned them say toy guns. But there is what is called presidential signature, and there's what is called presidential brand.
Okay.
What makes Traoré, his brand of dress, his coat of dress, his signature of dress. Wama President Mahama say any security couple no manage president say or the person baba no ho. Me no me nyanko person could be a toy person.
You need to mean
and I'm say person no cry bibia ni ammunition.
Sure.
But to send a signal that this is the way I go to places. President Pacho Miniano better measure hand gloves. Miniano measure hand gloves. Meba, this is the way I'm entering into the podium. Other presidency in Atra care won't be see anymore.
Yes, the other side.
Over the other side. The security protocol.
Yes.
And why any V-shaped entry. It is done by KGB.
I see.
To monitor and to guide Putin.
It's not your fans analogy.
No.
Interesting.
It is done by Israeli Mossad.
Wow.
Israel Prime Minister acquired Israel for a V-shape plus. Not Prime Minister initiative. Where covered or Otutria Webeji. Now, these are special forces are omia snipers.
Okay.
They didn't come and joke. Aunt Naho, Emma Burkina, a country from almost day one of independence in 1960. Oma you coup d'etat, go and check Burkina democratic elected presidents.
Sure.
Oma you could become you coup 2 days. Obia a prime head of state 2 days, a 10 days, a 17 days. And to him say, now before so baba na there been the coup and onim say damiba at Togo here until they could harm him whilst he's coming or whilst he's leaving, not on the podium of the edition. And president had agreed with him, say yes, oba bra.
Okay.
Protocols on the president mama ni na deal we.
Oh, okay.
And the public listening.
Wow.
President Mama is not ordered by any law. Say on country obi say no any Burkina Faso leader neighbor. He's aware already what the boy is coming. Obacha say we true right. Obaba bako left and bako bebo ni now.
Yeah.
This is how I'm going to enter. Now people did not read meaning into how the boy went into the podium. Oba and of force there are two things. We call it where diplomacy meets culture.
Yes, where diplomatic
meets culture.
Okay.
A conjuncture of the two. The boy exhibited the two. Very intelligent guy.
Yes.
He went to the podium and straight away to the vice president. And then the Burkina culture. How many tribal settings know Burkina? Half of Burkina population, they are Moshis. They have Fulani.
Okay.
They have the Gurinzi. They have the Mende. They have other tribes. He's a Moshi boy. In the Moshi culture, which we have the same thing in the Ghanaian North. So when you are going to greet a woman who can be your mother, you take off your cap.
Oh, I move video no enter honomo so that we can all relate to it. Yes.
And taking off your cap, you take off with the left. You don't take off the right. It's an insult. So he took off the cap with his left.
With his left. Wow.
And then stretch out. That's diplomacy with the right. And have a handshake with her. Please, uncle Hagen say any mama and aunt and family member ko wie ya ni wie no ko be Hagen. But do Hagen ka Ghana for baka say boy no pay vice president.
Also kwa na bia so da.
Wako Hagen no. And no be another story.
Interesting.
On my diplomatic handshake. O move wie ya no. Who was still the president of the Republic of Ghana is already declared. But then who had been the interim president?
That is
our receiver, no. He came here when Abambagwin was the president of Ghana. So he went to Abambagwin. But then, of course, I didn't know Chi Obanwe no. Or Sadeni Chenche. Or the Chenche said, he's a head of state of a country. He's wearing his cap. This is how he dressed.
Okay.
So Otuni Chenche Abambagwin is against diplomacy. He has lowered Burkina Faso to Ghana.
Oh. And
head of state Vatican head of state is Pope Holy See.
Wow.
On chain Ibrahim Traoré. On chain Bassirou Faye of Senegal. Every head of state or head of government, all of them are the same. With the same power. It doesn't matter so a Russia president or Chinese president. In just ordinary Chinese share back. Whoever who be our kokro ya hwanyu. Or no your pet. In terms of the president, age there is a number.
But in the case of the vice president, or your bad here, your culture.
Oh man, no culture. That's culture meeting diplomacy.
Interesting.
The boy existed.
Interesting.
Me, my whole, but I clap for him. I know what was going to happen.
But I was also standing right before, so I was observing, but that means
that is it.
Interesting.
Okochi ani wie no, oko president no, na ne cheshe no. One kasa as President Mama will put it, is my young brother. So beautiful. Oya ni young brother no say local chair president mama no went to nature.
That we went to nature because only your pet.
Only your pet. Now another interesting scenario people were talking about Ghana born home. Kwame Nkrumah kura walking stick. Secretary okura walking stick. No ajwa say.
Yes.
Mobutu Sese Seko okura walking stick. Kenneth Kaunda no okura walking stick. Eyadema no okura walking stick. Between you and I and all of us in the public listing, security experts muntie. Walking stick, a lot of them are guns. Omar Bashir and the walking stick, and it was a gun.
Oh, I see.
Sanya gun kura walking stick, may God forbid, ekura na odi wo nipa yam. Any trio before so obe ha obe arm no, near this arm no, they are dangerous. Intinka Traoré ba and okura walking stick. And Kabaka
dangerous weapon.
It's dangerous more than even the gun.
I see.
And nobody knows whether he had ammunition in the gun or it was a toy gun. I wanted the Hiamo, near Timanya, professors, lecturers, Ghana security experts, Timika Mujina political science school, a lecture and cry said it was even wrong. So the military uniform, a bad democratically elected president swearing in. And I've told you and I've educated you, say, even the congregation of the United Nations General Assembly, they were wearing more than 35 military uniforms. Mexico for Georgescu of Romania, he was a military leader.
I see.
Or called UN chamber with military uniform. What about the Peru? What about the Ecuador? What about El Salvador? What about the Colombiana? What about Papua New Guinea? All of them were military leaders in the 90s, etc. But they come to the UN chamber with military uniform. So please, let's get it clear. So I'm crying out, mutual diplomacy, I'm not to a lecture, my dear. No. So lecture biaba, no baba catcher or say. Democratically elected president, you have military uniform, coach, and catch and say UN Secretary General, you have the military uniform chairman.
I see.
I've cleared that part of it.
Yeah, sure.
So the guy came.
No, but before you proceed, Mami who said this same scenario, yeka wasem ebiesi dana.
Say Obi president Bikra Kwacha Obi.
Yes.
Now you be it is even extreme for anybody to imagine. It's extreme.
Because President Kufuor, in the case of President Kufuor and President Bush.
Yes. Remember how?
Okay.
President Bush visit to President Kufuor. I did.
Okay.
Some works.
Oh, okay.
Protocols at the airport.
Yes.
I'm
interested because related to this,
President Kufuor is alive.
Yes, sure.
Sir, American for checklist. And no protocol, diplomatic protocols. Diplomatic protocols, I've said, is not about any ordinary security intelligence. The diplomatic protocols is something I've said is based on principles and agreements. Or the checklist by America for the old reading we call Bubefu. What are some of them? President Kufuor Kwesi George Bush, that one was okay. Or call a culture assembly, or the US or bar, radar control, flight, radar control, America for take over. Munko Ghana Civil Aviation go.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
How?
2 hours before the flight of US President Obama, Clinton, Bush, Ebesa Ghana, within 2 hours, they instruct the country Ghana as part of the protocol agreement. Say, yeah, my plane, yeah, my Ghana airspace.
Wow.
And then the West Africa, Ghana, your radar control, no quantity, Jeremy Yardie, Ghana for Yardie. Your radar control in Timukwa could do Lagos, Nigeria for the Intiminduha. Your radar control, Chem Wagadugu.
I see.
A Chem Cote d'Ivoire. In America for an betinasroho, making sure said there's a total clearance in the air. President Kufuor signing and I won't sign it. Minya kakre here no sign it. Checklist one. No take it. Or the 2 aircraft, 1 backup. President India need the second to land, but the first one to land on the Air Force backup. But Obetiasia na no take it. Or Air Force. Say Nampesu Muye, America before I saw Babahano, now the Marines about 3 months ahead of the visit in Umbidi Okrumha. I exercise, security exercise. I kombu ya for ya yinina, ya airport wa baby ya. Omu ya no maba, hotels or high buildings across, Oma cultures umbeji, including the tower of the airport.
Oh.
Only yes, I no. Part of the agreements, he is no more president, so I can speak on the subject. So if it was a president, President Kufuor giving in. It is called agreement diplomatic agreements of diplomacy. What he has said, do visit also of the visit agreements of the visit. Meba or call Castle Osu. America Judy President Kufuor nearby name the security protocols. They say United States President or call African country. Enye UK no ko enye Germany enye ya bia omojuom settings ni di no e bia na President Kufuor kura nim and say ya obi meham ye mienu no we will scan the executive wing and the offices, so the president have to step out from his office.
Oh,
near move and krama na kum.
How? Why?
The service dogs.
Why?
Or scanning for omo mienu nyina.
President it's your no office na all receive another president from outside. Is he a movie president now or no host president in the office? When
I'm say we delay what is called emotions. Diplomacy has got nothing to do with emotions.
Interesting. I mean,
diplomacy has got nothing to do with feelings. Diplomacy has nothing to do with social illustration. They are all kind of a combination of social illustrations and emotions.
Interesting.
And then what you call it expectations. Diplomacy has got no expectations. We are talking about subject, object, principle, and then standard practice. Do you understand standard practice? Also, President Kofonya me ba de bia no bibi kwa no bi power you bibi. Enti agye ni say me enu na be save. Kodwo mpianim office, come on, get out. Obi abepie, yes, can you be a
wow.
Executive wing bia na nkrama na ba out. No ma be certify. O wa sheki the service commander of the dogs. Akre ansa na president ko say which is omu di agro. Omu wi ya no. 2 days visit. Abrabo George Bush call man kanje president Kufo for me offer na mumisa ne say George Bush call part of the protocols I signing here no na obi antimi mfa na ni hwe the direction of President Bush and President Kufo right from the VVIP launch.
Why?
That time so what you say immigration boss near friend Matthias, he was there.
Okay.
Colonel, the coordinator, security coordinator of Ghana Aviation International Airport, Kotoka. I entered, but I'm the security. Let's get the fuck out of here. Come on, get out. Sergeant on duty, no control. Uma take over Ghana VVIP. What did we do? Obia ojina hobia, mo journalists who check it, mo search. Journalists, don't go. Anyaka tipa truck and the DC tamak no so yes scanning wo mu cameras you and the dome nyina kini kg wo mu and the marines twa wo mu hia they were the people who were having a site. President Kofoni ni ministers so dome ko nyina no everybody has to turn around. President and his wife, Bush and his wife, they were the people working on the red carpet. Time now all where mu na oba besini akofa ne kind the beast before he goes to join the aircraft no. Na Ghana Culture Assembly omo bokiti eno an ye receive no problem ama all corner ye bokiti no edija no kwan no na US Army John Boy okoba bi ombokiti no they spend musical for coordinator a friend ebo apia or ho am friend musa nsa me say because I was there omo bonyum nkran ne sa gagagagagagagagre na kwan no kama no say they have to scan the drums. Na kama na ko am say drums no say Bush bantum ko to twene na yamono new drums e dina aboa na mpeke cent ni ye aboa ni shaky drum be 2 US Army o fa twene no de sika wo mu say bra o say you know butu twene ni 2 get out for out of here mo fa mo twene ni free onko.
Interesting.
It was part and agreements of the protocols said they make sure say omo yo mo adwuma. Almost say almost na some security aspect then they know officer grab chroma now. You don't know about security, you don't know diplomatic security, diplomatic intelligence, don't talk. Now I tell you and when him dey buy and obia share outside only journalists kakra na keju omo and ombia no mo hwe even George Bush President Kufo Jano kwa mumusa President Mama mumusa former president bia o belts red carpet ruba bia o the host nkwa udu udu a no agina ho na watene Bush also no nye diplomatic
sure
enti no onante basabasa the coordinator was a sergeant or chair President Kufo we no dey know na o shato no stand there Mr. President. No, because we State Department, they are monitoring him from America. And we and we're walking in. American president does not go in front of the car to sit. You go through the back.
Okay.
Into a call back, you know. On Tinaka and Munku be done. Some said, will be a bread. Na president na. No more than who dare you, American. Omo mani jina ho. Then the coordinator through his ears, State Department is watching. 1, 2, 3 instructions. Bush tracker no no so no no atwe no. O de nsa to na pampa mu aka na shem.
Oh.
Otan ka anim wi na bisin 2 year no eko tamak no enyan president kofo enyan ankodwu clean ano ka ne na di ni free ho na de no koe into a full staircase ni wi an wagina soro wa wevu enu ko wevu na chakra anyom be kan nsa to form push him in. Wow. Afe obi atimi dan nani amanfo agina ho be 45 minutes nani hwa dan. Do you understand what is called diplomatic protocol?
I
mean, that's a job. When Nanado swearing in, the Gabonese president by on record, His Excellency Nanado government and inviting Odimba Omabongo. When we had the protocols, the checklist, any agreements, I did the Gabon part, or say the Ghana part.
Oh, okay.
The president was built to go and rest from airport. Our Kempiski,
okay.
But now Gabonese students, because no free election then chair. No opposition for Jean-Pierre and Chinese now or contesting. All the students are big good Kempiski, ever discrediting the presence, and I picked that intelligence. So we decided not to bring the president to Kempiski for that humiliation. I, coach me and asked Sergey, I took Prestige apartments, opposite Korea Embassy at the back of police headquarters. A president, I'm Kwaji house, and I ground floor. And from airport now, arrival ceremony in New Year, no, straight away, they catch a motor rider, no, near decided, and we informed the national security, we informed the Presidential Protection Force. Say Gabonese president in our Kempiski Bayam Fanenko. This is why we are going, so they should be on alert. Straight away, I didn't call Prestige. What did they mention? Now, from Prestige, straight away we are bringing him to the podium. We are podium now. Once the president is swearing in, we are International Conference Center. No receive, no tete-a-tete, another proper official handshake. No more wishing well.
Sure.
Then agreement with Ghana and what I signed was that President Onna, 2 from the
Onna Ghana.
Derby, Onna. The security coordinator was a Chinese man. Okachem's Al. On Dopa is usually on Valley, on the party. They are not sleeping here, they will go. So that one was known. We communicate to the Ghana government, say Gabonese government will seek a passage after greeting the president post swearing in. Into any year, the co-chair president in Uyeno, back into his car. We have the detailed other cars, convoy cars in the line straight away. But the 30 contingent, and you didn't These are certain protocols, sir. It has nothing to do with anybody who claims to be a cyber security expert. No. Ambajo Utemi. Obiako, Nigeria, Aso Rock to visit, to go to Nigerian presidency. It's a lot of money.
Yeah.
The kind of processes that you go, the kind of security tubes that you go through. Birthday party near president no maba no abesa because it's a calm country, it's a peaceful country.
Yeah, sure.
It's me. Not that we stand there, no. So be Baha. Now Bass said, and your country need to invite no. Traoré Ghana na invite no. President Mahama and invite no. He was coming because of President Mahama. He didn't come because of Republic of Ghana. Into a friend. And President Mahama had assured, say, also establish diplomatic relations, which is the very thing. On pay, ni neighbor so no more problems. Also, in one union, problem or how solve because our trade bilateral and our culture, our tribal settings, you know, in our border. We've spoken about President Kufuor name Edison. Obama Bahano, Oko Cape Coast. So be who the entourage or the Cape Coast. Now American soldiers nearby no. Why no own create you? Marine for no ebi okroma deda, but we don't buy in they were gun wielding army marines. Oh. And no move president no. Now mention Obama buy among call Holiday Inn hotel. Me, I say things and give references so that you can check. Omuba and Holiday Inn hotel, that was camouflage place where the president was supposed to sleep.
Oh.
A dummy place.
I see.
But no in a safe house.
Oh, okay.
They can't safe house. Will be our you know.
Yeah.
They understand.
Sure.
No in a safe house, American phone him so better.
Oh, okay.
Do you get it?
But now you're quite Holiday Inn.
Go Holiday Inn hotel. Floor 1, floor 2, floor 3 up to 5th floor. Room na no kwakoda 509. That also they gave Americans gave to Ghana. Say room imagine the Obama no 509 ho no koda. Monko Holiday Inn hotel go business or die. Obeda ho. Oba no the whole Holiday Inn hotel so you know omo 5. And omo
even when he's not sleeping there.
Oh, so we don't miss Obabeda. They create the dummy. And omo first floor. And omo second floor. And omo dey nkrama na gumu. In Kraman, America's sniffer dogs, service security dogs, FBI, CIA, Kraman be about FBI agent, a CIA agent, a be a SSS, state security agents. Omunina baby, Omun number that anymore, or first second floor, and no seal of the staircase, and no seal of the elevator. Up to the 5th floor.
Interesting.
And then they put Ghana national security, and of course some of them were BNIs, to mix up with them. Also to have a blend of the local settings.
Yeah, sure.
The American still are on traso. Into Ghana security kwa adene bema no omesa scano o pocket. Asa no mo wako post.
Echinanko.
Wa ma uncrep you.
We be the truth.
O ma uncrep you.
Wow.
Obama, meso omo je dan Holiday Inn hotel 2 floors no man krama dem and omo je top until say American president obe free the airspace of Ghana so sniper phone kwan no omo free ho radar control no omo free ho. They make sure say the president is out of the airspace of Ghana and say no marines in omo radar control monitors no and say no omo see from that another president in no court. Then they have the other way. Be follow no.
I see.
That is how the security protocols and then the intelligence protocols. So there's a difference between diplomatic intelligence protocols and then ordinary security protocols. These are what and it's not about somebody's the expectations.
Yes. Matthias, but during the swearing-in ceremony,
yes,
you could observe say. After so Kokuchia, Ibrahim Kokuchia, I don't know if I should call the then president or
already a president of Ghana.
No, me can't speaker.
Yes.
Speaker Nyadaje Church Burkina where the Church Ghana for said they are men of brave men and what have you.
So, no,
yes, so now other countries were Musa. And all the other 21 heads of states now would say the other side. And I could see say Ibrahim Ukono, I don't recall so Chiaomo. He didn't shake hands with them.
The ECOWAS leaders.
Yes.
The African Union. They claim to have a problem with the boy because a coup, but he's not the only person to have staged a coup.
Oh, okay.
And you can't say no more problem. There is what is called maybe irregular friendship. And a boy in Subai, and he's concentrating on his country. He's only been out to Russia and been to Ghana.
Oh.
And you know, only woman you don't know about business. Well, you're a serious person. So this is what the guy came in. He came in with energy.
Yes.
He came in with charisma. He came in with diplomatic intelligence. Very resolute. Very respectful. But then he came in as a soldier.
Yeah, sure.
So you saw him say he's very energetic. Or very enthusiastic about what he's doing. Very, very smart on what he's doing. And then he carried the country Burkina and the youthful exuberance and the expectations of Burkina who were watching him. So he goes into any other country with the same bravery.
Oh, I see.
And that is what I said.
I see.
The signature. Go ahead.
And unfortunately, V-shape Nana Okano.
Yes.
I could see in the military, yes. Now a one side and the other side.
That is you. That's one you call it. When you they gave him U-shape.
Oh.
Ebi wa we say no team be judge
the president. Yeah, sure.
Until they cover the back.
Oh, okay.
No man
so they be so actually.
Yes, of course. They use shape. They themselves. They don't go ma so mba be hwe eyi. Oma hwe ceremony ni bi.
And they were carrying bags. They have
detonators.
Wow.
They have detonators. Bag no ka so to say other president to another bag no. Yeah. There be unaccountable impress. Ebu also so. Everyone the BP drops. They call us cholesterol drug guru. Onu me prostate drug. Onu cholesterol. The BP guru na that they say the campaign bag in the crown. A drug gra. What is the mention?
But quite interesting to know. They moving away from the story in Nayemra, the State of the Nation's address. I mean, the president's security collapse here.
Yes.
Abrana, the president, Emma, the State of the Nation's address.
Yes.
At that point in time, collapse here, we could see some changes. In fact, so I could see the reaction of some of the medical team, which to me it wasn't the best. Few minutes later, it took about more than 3-4 minutes, and Sana, the vice president security, the police service, General President Echi. Then over 10 minutes, and yes, so Jennifer Fra over replacing one dressing to say the president's security guard. What is that security implication all about?
Okay, so one, I've said and I repeat again, a joking paradise.
Oh.
Ghana is a joking paradise. Okay? Because on him say Parliament, I want a heart attack. Parliament in the world.
Wow.
Heart attack. Politicians, more HBP patients, baby, cholesterol patients, baby. And any serious nation, parliament, including the oldest parliament in the world, which is Iceland, they introduced parliament in the Nordic. Almost every serious nation parliament, American Congress, American Senate, US, UK, lower, upper chambers, etc. They make sure there's a standby emergency physician, a standby medical team. They are not shown, but they have their room and they are there.
Yeah.
But what they say?
Yeah, sure.
It should not take more than a minute.
Not more than a minute?
Not more than a minute for them to walk in the chamber. They were parliamentarians will be called to an act of shock.
Yeah, sure.
But what they say? And you're Nigerian for Senate now. Say, Ubia di Bonnet, and I say, calling Senator to no down. And you're Nubia. In a proper worst case scenario, organic.
Okay.
So the moment that the man obi a cracker say, and I no so yenino, all call from one who's about Betiato and a wanka. There say obi no BP, so when you HBP, high blood pressure, or the then will beat him, he's not in control of himself.
Yeah, sure.
I'll bet him saying Benya BPT, President, Nana Dweni Somu. The president would have held him. So sure the president was even this.
No,
he didn't know.
In the
That's
first
what
place.
I mean.
Until the reaction from the members of parliament
Public,
and then my president telling the and quickly, first person who began to call Katie Hammond.
At that time, now medical team, boy.
It took about
but
3 minutes.
Any serious nation, if Ghana is not a joking paradise, but they see anything, you know, His Excellency President Mama is your regime now. We don't talk about what is in the past. It is your duty to make sure that thing is fixed. Honorable Ambagwen, it is your duty to make sure that Parliament will have a standby medical team with defibrillators, with shockers, certified nurse, certified physician on the budget of what? Parliament. Our mobile Parliament 24 hours.
Na se kwa no munya water tender fire tender cresi ho no na bi cresi.
So mo adwum no ya bompa ya ho ntianhye. What I say? And in emergency situation and I will how it took how many minutes and sand will be baba that is where and how we say in a situation of a country that does not take security at a certain level with essence, with seriousness, and that is where. Assuming, that's not what I'm trying to say, but possibility said, say guy no fake here, and no what external motive, and no more group be something to distort the attention of the parliament, including the president. And the time like by a pandemonium reactions, you know, before saying another chin and nanki abachin kodadada.
But CDS, that's CDS it's here demo. And IGP so take the other side.
Yes, IGP tell me it take an IGP to jump into the forum, only chief of defense staff. It take how many minutes?
Oh, but no much what that.
Thank you, I'm chair say. They are all
sorry.
Their duty, yes. Their duty, they are also part
sure.
of the Presidential Protection Force.
Yeah.
At that level. One would have seen, say, Sebi, Brunia, Komkran Bedika Rashi. What are they supposed to do? Man, who said, Obi, they're supposed to quickly go and round
the president.
Yes, sir. He was the first person to be protected because it could have been a fake.
Yeah.
It could have been a stage. It could have been anything else.
And could they have also moved him out of the podium?
Exactly, you moved him out from the podium. Nanado was standing there waiting to continue and read.
Yes. And
and they didn't take the president to.
And nobody also. Nobody paid attention.
And then I'm sure say Colombia, I'm Latin America, and come papa ne de no koi.
Oh, I see.
That's what I say.
Yes.
When you speak at home, when you're president, sure, when you're chief of staff, or family and send you are. One aka. The next in command, the auditor general, also at an office. The Ben Neco president of Ghana.
Wow. Interesting.
What does it?
Yes.
Because now the vice president, maybe. Tell the vice president.
Oh, not vice president.
Sorry,
not
vice president. Yes, indeed.
In fact, the vice president.
I'm sorry, four. President, the vice.
Yes, and
a speaker, and a chief justice.
Chief justice.
And Nipa four. The next president of Ghana, auditor general. And she's an Kobe by one for the Dome Koya.
But another observation, before say I may go into details of that, so the etishi area no, or collapse area no, you could see say na ne chenda social.
Oh, send the channel name too. So I don't know force my channel. I channel decided say to meaning say we're good military to no share cheni.
But the na hit so. I mean, but that people also felt to say, "Naki so much to the channel," because at that point in time, he wasn't of himself.
I'm just we have ventilation.
Yes.
Say Brunia.
And then I also be training. I remember me say, "KTM no compare them."
Okay, on call send you responding to emergency because only medical team be out there.
But if for by, I mean, ambulance for by.
Ambulance for by
within
time
some short period.
Within short period, that's okay. But I'm saying, say, all these things, you know, now, they say, medical team, no, you have more small back seat. No more chamber anymore. They are ready with their defibrillators to shock them, to defibrillate them in case somebody has that a shock.
Okay.
And now a Brunia or top form, no, yeah, they believe you in a rank. Brunia come to chain a rank and crowd to training. You have to empty him. I say, when you're bare chest, no CPR. I didn't see anybody.
It took more than 10 minutes before they could do that. And I saw it.
That's what I mean.
Directly.
Papa, they should have. We didn't, you know.
Wow.
American, yeah, fuck the shit out of it. I'm sorry. Why didn't we turn uniform? No crowd to go. The body, the human being, uniform can always be fixed. Uniform can be gone. So the back and say, you uniform, no, you attend a rank. Joking paradise. But what I say? You be a parliament, you know. What is said this issue? I expect. So the first topical issue would have been that story and that encounter of what happened during the Sona. And for that matter, the Speaker of Parliament and the speakers, the Parliament, the ranking members, both sides, would have raised that issue. At the same Parliament, no police for no market. How come, sir, such a thing has happened? It could have happened to the president. It could have happened to the speaker. It could have happened to any other president. Look at the response and the security. But what I say? And think a parliament, that should have been the first thing that they have to make sure and ensure say they are passing a bill, even though they have already the medical team, but they should structure the medical team well. Now, what is called assigned entities.
Okay.
BBC, who comes in? BBC, who are the first point of call? BBC, who are the first team to go closer? Majority, I
see.
And then how would the president be protected in the pandemonium at that material? More exposed to president. So he was in wilderness.
That is
and not in Ojinaho.
That's so true. And then two quick questions.
Go ahead.
President Babe Frisuno, we heard and we saw so many national security operators, among some of the presidents, Eddie Omoka. Some of them, maybe no more strike near there, maybe no more tabletop, 1,500 Ghana cedis. Some of the police officers were complaining, the military were also complaining, our Flagstaff House. Some of them, it took a government official, to say, I don't want to mention names, but some government official, go in the Coco rescue the situation. Whilst near Campo, others, Blue Gates, the Ministry of the National Security Ministry, now, say, Ibrahim Traoré, all these security issues next at say Poppy Bar. Does it have any implication?
Okay, first of all, what happens? We don't have a clear cut of a security administration at the presidency, apart from say your director of operations, but your police administration, our presidency.
Yeah.
But the Okano. It bothers on say, your presidency, no. Sorry to say. Anybody that feels say he knows somebody or closer to the government, Otimi, Asian uniform Krakotanahobi. The national security, only the coordinator of all security operations, especially at the presidency, supported by the Presidential Protection Force, supported by the police administration, that is the security community at the presidency. Omunam Bayese. Who are they? You brought boys and a car park hall, and everybody call himself national security personnel or badge, only badge, but it is identified as KB or JB. And Tidabi or Soranapa, Otimi woman himself, Ekokotana presidency obi. And at what point in a French culture, at what point in any civilized culture, say President be called? Now you a team call themselves say they're security operatives or presidency. You 8 years. What makes Kayam? It's very shameful, eh?
And at the point they had to block the president.
I said
from moving.
It's very shameful. Wow. His Excellency President Mama, over to you. The National Democratic Congress also have done that in the past. They've done it President Mills' time. They've done it President Mama's time. Those who go out there to hang at the presidency. The only president, in my view, was President Kufuor. Because PNM didn't allow.
Yeah, sure.
They had sanity, they had respect, and they made sure say whoever comes to the presidency must be enlisted as part and parcel of the security coordinating list or team.
Okay.
And Sadia, President Mama, emphasize the top agenda. Now on submit it to the national security say, may the only 25 people and their co-presidency, may the only 10 and the do operations, may the only 5, and this is the clear-cut number. Na nipa me brebe na omkugu car park hall presidency no. These are the people. President ni ko ahane sunyane a na omo ankasa on their own. Otu the car no the presidential convoy nachi just to be part of it because omkoba ni ache skadia momo. So that thing the office of the chief of staff, because normally the chief of staff budget you don't need to do that. You cannot do that as a country. We can practice those kind of jokes and continue to feel say we are having a governance. No.
All right. Finally, my question: Obey available as Evo Ewo Mahama should in case or person from Abebuano as a diplomatic, an international diplomatic consultant.
What's my?
I may be somewhere.
Well, send me again.
Who may available?
Send me available, provided I'll not be as NDC or MPP employed or any person to serve. I can serve as a Ghanaian.
Okay.
But let me put something on record. There are things that we've done on the back that didn't come out.
Okay.
And I'm saying this because President Mahama is back as a president. Somewhere around 2015, 2014, now President Mahama and Buhari, because of good luck, exiting. Now rift kakra, rift, but then there was discomfort.
Yeah.
Let me put it that way. Better word to choose. Buhari ebufui because Nigeria Energy Minister design. Na wama Ghana ye use gas near the Kani in Chia. And we had an arrangement through certain company I can put on air. And near in Chia gas in a car. Tina Kanason. Buhari at a point, and lawyer then, and or two Ghana gas. But what they say, supply to Ghana. Because Buhari was the energy minister throughout his 8 years in Inaugural. One energy minister. Nigeria President Buhari was Nigerian oil minister throughout his 8 years.
Oh, I see.
And to know as an oil minister, and or two gas.
Watching the ball.
Or two gas. Minister of Foreign Affairs at that time was Madam Henrietta.
Yeah.
Minister of Energy was Boa.
Amakofi Boa.
Kofi Abujinapo.
Yeah.
President was Republic was President Mahama. It was difficult to go to Buhari because we had a problem with him. And in this case, Nigerian Ministry of Oil, Ministry of Oil was at the presidency, Aso Rock, and on what on the gas. Say Ghana didn't care you try gas. I took Ghana to Aso Rock. Mene, the late Michael Obobi, who was an aide to the president. And I'm saying this because President Mahama is back to power. I'm saying this on record for the first time publicly. I'm not the foreign minister of Ghana. I was not the energy minister. The energy minister, the foreign minister, except the president who knew what was going on. Intimidate Michael Obobi. I didn't call Nigeria. When I was taking him to Nigeria, Virgin Nigeria flight ticket was sponsored by myself. Oh. We went to sleep at a Grafton Hotel in Wusetu near the Aso Rock. It was my money that I paid for my own room. Marco Bobi paid. I took Marco Bobi to Nigeria Presidency. When we went to the Aso Rock to go and see Buhari, Alhaji Minor, Commander Manu, Director Intelligence of Nigeria Army Commander, my good self, and then Alhaji Mekano, who was the AO, Administrative Officer of Buhari. President Mama is a president, he knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. When I took Marco Bobi in there, and when we went to Mekano, we went to sit in Buhari's office and told him, say, this is the situation. I said, yes, he's aware. He raised an issue, upbeat, but this is not an issue. He jokingly said, say, yes, no. His Excellency President Mama, Ninu Aketwa, or no be head of state in the 80s, and was in Sanya Bukrana and Ninu Aketwa. But Roman said, a good luck no choir on woman himself. Time yes, I did not President Mama. In Lorraine University, our Nigeria, no Koji Award. So Buhari jokingly told us, say, he is the president of Nigeria, and in Gobetma Loco, the airspace. Yeah. Now President Mama Nyako MP. He jokingly said, so I brokered the deal in Buhari's office with the late Marco Bobi, with a large minor, a lady who crew my friend Lovey Abuatin. She knows about what I'm talking about. And Sana Buhari said, Ghana yen Chuebi. Into the amount that even we proposed to pay about $10 million, we ended up giving $3 million. But Buhari had told Marco Bobi, say, because of you, please Mekano, see to it. And to know president or minister, no, Mekano could draft a letter, no, and was Sadibre Buhari, and was signed before Ghana could make a deposit. Wow. Maybe I went with my own money, I came back with my own money. I like to serve and do things for the country not necessary to serve any government in the name of either NDC or in the name of MPP.